Can the LA Rams catch lightning in a bottle? Second week in a row for the playoffs. We're going to discuss this and we're going to cover the entire divisional round. Hello, goats. It is your Sheperd. I am joined by that happy Commissioner Rhino.
Very happy.
Oh, yes, we know that you are happy. We know that you are the resident LA Rams fan, and you should be happy today.
Very happy.
Yeah, no, and look, they played a great.
Real happy from yelling at the
TV. They played a great game, and we're going to get to it. But first, yeah, let's tackle the news, the notes, and then goats before we get into the wild card round. The teams that obviously are now making their golf plans. Please give us a like. Please subscribe to the channel.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
We've got tons of stuff in the works for you this entire off season that we are very excited about, and we are just we're on the trajectory this way, much like those LA Rams. But again, first let's get to some. Let's get to the news and the notes out of the way first. That way we can just concentrate on the games that were played this past weekend. So our big coaching news, right? Mike McCarthy out.
What a shit show! I'm sorry.
Did you expect anything differently?
I don't know what I expected, but he screwed the pooch, not be able to interview Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson, the wonderkin, the next great head coach.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Because that is not that's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm going to explain why. Because I guess a good week went by where a lot of these high-profile names have been interviewing. Look, the Jets fired their coach week 6, and they're still looking for like a head coach and a GM. But again, the need, Ben Johnson is now sat down in front of owners, and this guy and that guy, a lot of other names being tossed around. But if this wasn't the Cowboys, right, you would say, they're behind the 8 ball, but it's the Cowboys, and you have to know that there was always the contingency to, we're going to part ways with Mike McCarthy, and now we have A, B, C, and D as possibilities. Like they're always as if like they opened up the drawer, took out their little list, and said, he's definitely available. And this guy, nobody's really calling him. We like him. Those guys being like a Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Okay. Kellen Moore call it what it is. He's a Cowboy. He's a Jerry guy.
I know. If you look at the trajectory of Jason Garrett, he was coordinator for a couple of teams, and then and then he got hired as the or head coach for the Cowboys.
Very true.
Then you're throwing out. Then you're seeing names like Deion Sanders and Witten.
Well, I didn't hear Witten.
Yeah,
I did not hear that. Now that would be interesting.
Yeah,
that would certainly be interesting. Like trying to maybe do like a Dan Campbell 2.0.
Right.
Now the Deion Sanders thing. Now again, a few things would have to work out in the Cowboys' favor, but I don't think that's the right move. I don't think.
Oh hell no! Because he point blank said that he wouldn't mind being head coach in NFL, but he wants his 2 sons on the team too.
Yeah, not 1 but 2.
And then it'll be a dog and pony show. It will be. I mean, I love prime time. I love him, but just for one thing, the way he coaches in college will not equate into how he can coach in the NFL. He's even made remarks about I probably can't coach in the NFL because all these guys are spoiled. I'd rather coach in college and help these young men become men and be able to survive in the future.
There's that aspect for sure. Like, you know, the actual word coach, like, yeah, coaching a young man, right? Going and recruiting someone out of high school and then following them along for
He didn't recruit.
3-4 years. Well, he probably
He uses
he
the
doesn't
portal.
have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to.
No,
But
he uses the portal.
but again, yeah. Now to make that transition from the college game to the NFL, I mean, the dude is a Hall of Fame cornerback, championship defensive player, cornerback again. But
Baseball player.
yeah, oh, absolutely, like otherworldly human being in terms of like athlete.
Mm-hmm.
What he has at Colorado is full autonomy.
Big
He's
time.
completely in charge of the entire football apparatus.
Yep.
Completely. I don't know. You don't, in my mind anyway, you don't just go from that to going to being the head coach in the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
So you're better suited with someone like Kellen Moore who will just do what he's supposed to do as a head coach.
And Jerry Jones can control his.
Yes. And you already know that you're going into the puppet role, and you're okay with being the puppet. And then some people are. Cliff Kingsbury, he would love another opportunity to be a head coach. I bet you.
He said he's come out and said that he's not really interested. He's still getting paid by Arizona, and he kind of likes just being an OC.
Okay.
So right now, I think he would take like the perfect spot for him. Wouldn't be the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, again, that job may not be as enticing as it's led on to believe nowadays. That's that, you know, and I've heard that a few times already now. Yep. It's just not. It doesn't come with that type of cachet.
No, not at all.
Doesn't come with that type of cachet. But you know, again, it is what it is. One of the greatest marketers in professional sports history.
Very much.
And yes, he's won 3 Super Bowls a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago.
Dark ages.
We were alive. I'm not sure if you goats were or not. Chances are you were a goat, and you were just a young goat.
Like you.
Yes, right. Not like me anymore. Anyway, yeah. So Mike McCarthy's out, and then a lot of the rest of the coaching vacancies are still up there. We know Mike Vrabel got hired over the weekend.
Yeah,
congratulations. We knew that was coming, and
there's talk he's bringing in Josh McDaniels as the
OC. Yeah. No surprise, surprise. And Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator too.
Yes, he is.
Good offensive coordinator. The Raiders are still conducting their stuff. Tom Brady's still conducting his searches.
I guess Robert Saleh in Jacksonville is picking up heat from our read earlier today.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I would prefer him to go back to the 49ers, but I mean, like, we'll see. Robert Saleh's a good head coach, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a good football head coach and with the obviously the defensive competency. But he's a good CEO of a football team.
Right.
Yeah, again,
that's just the way to put it.
Just wound up in a situation that was doomed from the start. And again, we could spend the whole entire hour talking about the Jets. We're not going to. We could spend more time talking about the Raiders. We're not going to. What we are going to talk about is the wild card weekend and the teams that are advancing.
Yeah.
Big kudos to the Houston Texans for
big time. Dog walked him, man.
They sent Jim right back to LA. Like, yo, your services are needed there more than you go home.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, ladies and gentlemen, 280 and a touchdown. And let me fall on my sword. Okay? Because I questioned young CJ's fortitude a few weeks ago, based on another situation with
Yep.
his best friend. His best friend. I got a lot of best friends. If I saw them with a broken fibula and torn shredded knee, I don't think I would cry either. But that's just those are differences in human beings. I questioned the young man's fortitude, and he showed up.
Showed up and showed out.
He showed up big time. It came down to a playoff game, and he played lights out. Now, again, there's still question marks around this team. And we'll get into those at another time. What's more importantly is, again, he had a good game under center. The defense played lights out, and the Chargers are going home. Look, aside from the Lad McConkey performance, no, you can't throw 4 interceptions
You can't.
in any football game.
But if they would have been able to establish a running game, then they would have been forced to be throwing the ball. And a couple of those balls, the one ball off Griffey's hand, I hate those. I hate those beat interceptions on some of those to be put on the receiver or something, man. When they bounce off, I mean that was a good pass too, and bounce off his hand. But they could not get a running game going at all. None.
Yeah,
and you need that for that kind of offense. And
that's something that's going to have to be addressed. I don't know if they bring back J.K. I mean, he had a good season, but I'm not sure if he was. I don't know if he was fully healthy for the game. I mean,
no,
I just don't know. I don't know if it would have made a difference even if he was fully healthy. He had a good year. There was no running game to speak of in this particular game. There was none. In
that offensive system, the Greg Roman system, everything predicates off the run game.
It used to.
It used to see.
It used to.
Now is his offensive system outdated to you?
No, because we had thought that we were going in with a very run-heavy focused Chargers team, and by like week 4, week 5, maybe it started to shift. It really did. It started to become like, okay, we could get Justin Herbert running a little bit. We could open things up a little bit. Could you imagine? Holy shit, look at this. We have our wide receiver that we drafted last year that can actually catch the ball. Oh, we have this absolute budding superstar in the, let's use that word a little cautiously, but what looks to be a superstar, looks to be a Pro Bowl wide receiver in the making in Lad McConkey. So we could do some things now. And we have an all-pro quarterback. Jim Harbaugh didn't leave the University of Michigan and choose this destination just because he decided to flip a coin between Team A and Team B. He went because of the quarterback. So and he had a great year. But again, look, it may have been a little bit of a tall order for the Chargers and for all of us really who thought that the Chargers were the better team going in. And and you might be able to make the case that they still are the better team. But look, here's the other point that I'll get to, Rhino, and then we will move on. You've got an offensive tackle, Joel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rookie. I'm sure he had a fine year.
Yep.
I'm sure he had a fine year, but he was going up against some dogs.
Yes, he was
on the defensive line. And that's a tall order to ask of any rookie. Or once one player gets kind of out of rhythm, out of whack, they just started to tee off, and it showed. He
Yeah,
was flushed.
and the Texans had Joe Mixon coming back running. I mean, he is running good.
Yeah,
Running good.
Joseph Mixon decided to come to the party, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's amazing.
Texans.
All right, so now they have to depart Houston. They're going to play the Chiefs. They played the
And
Chiefs.
we know Stroud outdoors.
He's not an outdoor cat.
No, he's not.
He's not an outdoor cat. This is eerie similar to not just the fact that these two teams played a few weeks ago, right? Like this was the game. Wasn't this the game that Tank Dell got injured?
I believe so. Yeah.
Right, several weeks ago, and it was a Saturday.
Yeah, I believe so.
This was a handful.
Yeah, it wasn't Saturday. Yeah,
this was a handful of weeks ago. This is good. This is a tall, again, another tough ask for this 10-7 Texans team to go up against the now two-time Super Bowl champion Chiefs that have just been sitting at home licking their chops, waiting.
Play a near perfect game to even have a slight chance to win. Slight chance. I don't think they'll get dog walked like a lot of people are thinking. I don't think that will happen, but because there's going to be some rust coming off the Chiefs because they haven't played in 3 weeks. You know.
Do you really think that's rust?
I think so. I think they'll come out slow.
I can concede that. I can concede that, considering that starters didn't play week 18. They weren't off. They didn't play this previous weekend. I could concede that there might be some cobwebs, some rust, but then you just get them going. Or on offense. On the Chiefs' offensive side of the ball, there shouldn't be any issue with the defense, though. There shouldn't be. And
everybody's healthy now.
This is one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And they've built it accordingly. They've built it this way.
Mm-hmm.
They built it to now play in January.
Yeah, they have to carry the team too. If the Chiefs can only score 20 points, the Chiefs defense can hold the other team to 14 points, 17 points. You know.
Give me an X factor in this game that could maybe either turn it upside down, like you said, like it would have to be like a damn near perfect game for the Texans. Give me an X factor for like what would need to take place. What does that perfect game look like? Just one bullet.
Joe Mixon running game established because they'll take time off the clock.
And once again, they have his number.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
They have his number. Wouldn't be a terrible plan. Ballsy plan, but not a terrible plan. Look, you want to roll out Joe Mixon for the first series and whatnot, and see what he's able to do or establish. That's fine. But like, if you see that he's not going, might as well just throw Dameon Pierce out there.
Yeah,
let's see if he could get it going, because you're gonna need a running game, and you can't just allow CJ Stroud to drop back, throw 35 times in this game and expect good results, because you've only got really one wide receiver now. I mean, and that's just a fact. You just got rid of a wide receiver that you brought in for what was the point of that?
I have no idea.
What was what's wrong? What's wrong, Deontay?
I don't know. I would like to know. I would really like to know.
What happened, Deontay? Is this going to be one of those cases where we find out later on down the road, like he's gotten his his bell rung too many times, and like all of a sudden now he's got CTE. Like I don't see that to be the case.
No.
He didn't go across the middle enough like AB did.
No, I think maybe something's gotten in his head that making him think he's better than he actually is. I mean, he's a good receiver. He's not elite. He's good.
I don't want to.
If somebody's in his head saying talking to him, making him think that he's one of these elite receivers, Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, Jefferson, then I can see why he'd be having an attitude because he thinks he's better than he actually is.
But like, somebody has to be like in his camp.
Yeah, that's what I mean. His little inner circle.
I'm talking about like a good inner circle.
Okay, not
Someone
too bad.
has to be in his camp, like his mother or his brother. Maybe not his brother, like his mother or an aunt. Be like, hey, Deontay, hey, son, how many more teams do you think you're gonna land on right now?
Yeah.
My feeling is like not a lot of teams are going to be like calling for Deontay Johnson's services. There's too much of a negative chain of evidence right now that suggests that he can't play for an NFL team. So again, that's back to why we just brought up Deontay. There's Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie and Bobby Trees.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna get it done.
No.
You're gonna need to establish the run, and if it's not gonna be with Joe Mixon because the Chiefs generally have Joe Mixon's number, it's good season, Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to the other wild card game of the weekend. This one comes to us. Oh yeah, on Saturday.
Yep. Sorry.
As well. No surprise here. No surprise here with the exception. Well, you know what? Not even a surprise. It's been the same story for most of the season. Most, if not all.
Yeah.
This team cannot move the ball.
No, because their freaking offense is vanilla.
They cannot move the ball. Russell, okay, he threw 2 touchdowns, but there was nothing else in between that. They couldn't get onto the other side of the field to even give like Chris Boswell a couple of attempts.
Yeah, if his receivers are being covered downfield, he can't throw the ball.
I mean,
he needs like 6 or 7 seconds to make his play to go back and forth and stuff, and then sling it. But he's not having the time because their offensive line was a real revolving door for they're all in his face.
There was nothing going on in terms of a run game. They weren't able to get Jalen Warren going. They certainly weren't able to get Najee going. George Pickens, again, he didn't have a terrible game. It wasn't a terrible game. That he was the recipient of one of Russ's touchdowns. It wasn't a terrible game. Well, I'm just looking for the exact stat line just to make sure.
Yeah.
He was under 100. Yeah, 87 yards. Not terrible. 1 touchdown. But there's nothing else going on here whatsoever. This team is anemic on offense. We knew this going in. The Ravens didn't have to do anything special. They didn't have to do a damn thing special other than just.
And we had talked about this game, saying what would need to be done, and we both said that if the Ravens jump out on top of them fast, that's it because they can't. The Steelers can't play from behind. They're not built that way. They have to be playing from the front, in the front. And congratulations, George. Right on.
Big George Goat, man. Big George Goat. A, congratulations. B, I mean, look, man. I guess you're welcome. I'm thanking you.
Yeah.
I'm thanking you. So you could tell us you're welcome. Thank you, George Goat. If we could provide you with a little bit of advice on a weekly basis, daily basis, it's going to be daily, George Goat. It's going to be daily. It's coming up. Maybe not so much daily in the off season, but it's going to be daily.
We got good stuff for all you goats. That's for sure.
You're a 2-time fantasy champion. Fantasy champion that's something you could say, man. It's something. Look, I don't know if it used to be. It's more. It's to many. It's just bragging. To some, it's like, okay, I make an investment into this, and then now it's a matter of, is it a return on investment? And then for others, and there's really no right or wrong here, it's along the lines of, this is just fun shit. And I'm the general manager of the team that I constructed back in August, and it's fun, and that's fun stuff. So I think I can speak for the commissioner here, George. For us two, it's a combination of all three.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe even add a fourth element now, being able to provide and to give back. So yeah, George, man, you're a fucking goat, man. Hold on, wait a minute. So I hope George's still here. Maybe one day I'll get all that shit right. As for George.
Look at that.
All right. So yeah, the Ravens didn't have to do a damn thing in this game, and it's not gonna be the same come this weekend. My commissioner told me that if I won a third time, they're going to kick me out. Yeah, you know what happens there, right? You have to go find another league, and that won't be hard to do.
No,
I don't think the commissioner is going to do that. What your commissioner may do, I'm going to give you. I'm going to put you on to a little something, George. What your commissioner may do is put like safeguards in place. So like, if it comes now down to the draft in August for your league, and it becomes random, it may just work in reverse. Since you won, you may be drafting 12th to try to change it up like that. That's one thing commissioners could do. The other thing that commissioners could do really is something that I attempted to do. And it's still it's only been 6 years, but I took the redraft format and I converted our league into an auction. So to try to take the predictability of where players are going to land on a round basis per round, now you're working with a budget and a much different strategy. So that's another thing. Now again, that may cause membership issues because not everyone wants to play like that.
Yeah.
But there are some things that could be done. Rhino, so Ravens, right?
Ravens. Derrick Henry. Just that's it. The king.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Just this game I'm looking forward to.
This is like kind of like the heavyweight match of the weekend, only it's not, right? I mean, like, because again, this isn't I think the real heavyweight match would be next Sunday, the following Sunday.
Yeah.
When we believe it to be the Chiefs versus the winner of this game. That's the heavyweight match, heavyweight title. But look, the Bills are coming in with. I mean, they got. There's two potential MVP quarterbacks in this game. One of them is going to win the MVP. So you've got two of those dudes. Their defenses are kind of sort of the same. Like the Ravens. Well, the Ravens secondary is much more improved. They're much more improved from where they were in the beginning of the year. I think that if like Josh Allen is so goddamn good. You remember, well, I know you remember what you said in terms of, like we didn't want to play any of the Bills wide receivers because we didn't know which wide receivers. Like it could be any one of them on any given play, any given down, any given situation. Josh Allen's touchdown throw to Ty Johnson in the back of the end zone.
That was beautiful. That was a good catch, though, too. I mean, extraordinary.
It was a great catch to make sure his body got down still in the end zone. He had about 5 minutes to throw the ball. Yeah. So, like, I don't know if he's gonna have the same amount of time, but like at the same time, I mean, he avoids sacks. He extends plays. Both of these guys do.
Yeah.
Both of them do. I don't know. I
They're
mean,
playing in Buffalo, so it's a Buffalo home game. I
it's
think if I don't think the Ravens will dog walk them like they did in the game during the season.
no, I don't think so either.
I think they need to get James Cook going. They need to get James Cook going, and then they need to establish a receiver. Who's going to be the receiver they're going to? That needs to be done. Has to, because they
It could be any of them.
I know that's
It could be any of them. It could again. He's gonna throw to the open guy. He's gonna be able to extend plays. Um, if Amari Cooper happens to be open, it'll be Amari Cooper. If it happens to be Curtis Samuel, it'll be Curtis Samuel. I mean, that part I'm not concerned with. What I am is being able to really stop or put in its tracks both facets of their offense.
Yeah.
That would be the Ravens passing attack and how Lamar could extend plays with his legs, how he could extend plays by getting out of the pocket.
Isaiah Likely and Andrews are those are nightmare matchups for linebackers.
Not sure what Zay Flowers' status would be for this game, but again, if he is a go, that's again you're putting another weapon on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting Rashad Bateman on the field. I mean, like, it could be any one of those guys. That's why I'm saying these teams they mirror Nelson Aguilar. Yeah, Nelson Aguilar, veteran Aguilar. I couldn't, like, if you asked me right now who is going to win this game, I'd flip a coin. I don't know. Yeah. A little bit of bias in me, tiny bit. Would like to see the Bills win the game.
Same here.
Not going to surprise me one bit, one iota, if it's the other way around and the Ravens go up against the Chiefs again. All right. That's it for this game. I mean, again, James Cook, even if they don't, right, like the Ravens' rush defense is so good, like they could stop the Bills' running game on the ground, but their running backs are used in the passing game that well.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a chess match.
Damn. Okay.
Any surprise? Not any surprise? Are you surprised here? Not surprised.
No, you know what the Packers and Chargers have in common?
The Packers and the Chargers. That's right. No, I don't.
They don't have, neither team has a true number one receiver. Labiconkley is getting close to that, but they don't have a true number one receiver. That's hurting the Packers. If the Packers had a go-to receiver like a Jefferson or Chase or a Nakua or a Nico, they'd be a lot better off. Instead of having a group of number 2, number 3 receivers acting like number 1 receivers.
Not having wide receiver weapons showed big time for this Packers team. And like, granted, I mean, like, they didn't have a number. Here's what kind of makes me scratch my head about the Packers in this game. Now, again, there was no way that the Eagles were losing this game.
No.
But here's what really scratches my head. It's like they brought in Josh Jacobs. They had a good offensive season, even dealing with injuries with the wide receivers. And I feel like they regressed.
Oh, big time. Oh, big time.
And they, like, this time last season,
Love was cooking
with Aaron Jones, who we're going to get to in a little bit. With Aaron Jones, the Packers looked a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so Josh Jacobs had this great season, and the Packers did really well. They got into the play. They clinched. They didn't need the final week to clinch. They got in based on record, based on their wins, losses. And they didn't have a shot in the world at beating this team. And yeah, maybe it was a little bit on Jordan Love, and Matt LaFleur, maybe his hands were tied, just maybe. I don't. Again, that's why it kind of makes me scratch my head.
If if you can't get the ball receivers, that means somebody one go get the 12 personnel, use send Musgrave and Croft out there and just throw 10 to 15-yard passes down to them. I think Jordan Love, he likes to hit those 15, 20-yard, and they're our number one receiver they can count on. You're throwing a ball from freaking Bo Melton and Jeff Heath, and just it doesn't. When I was watching, that was my take. When I was watching the game, I was just thinking, God, if these guys had a freaking number one receiver, how different would it be? Because it definitely opened up the run game a little bit more too. I mean, considering how bad, they don't have bad receivers; they have good receivers. But not having an elite receiver, that hampers the running game. And Jacobs had a good rushing season. He didn't do too bad in that game, but he can't carry it. He's not Saquon. He can't carry a team.
No, I mean, like even. It's more. It's more than that. It was also it was the quarterback play and the lack of wide receiver. Dare I say talent? I mean, like we didn't get anything close to what we thought we were getting with Jaden Reed.
Yeah,
we didn't have Christian Watson's availability. Romeo Dobbs isn't that dude, and Dontavian Wicks ain't that dude. So yeah, this does go back to a legitimate wide receiver threat of legitimate like run all the routes, alpha wide receiver. And the Packers don't traditionally do that, but they're gonna. I think they're gonna have to. And I'm not even. And what's funny too, Rhino. I mean, for fantasy, you love them. You love the damn position, but in terms of for football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not usually the one. I'm not in the camp of saying that you have to have one to win the Super Bowl because
wide receiver one.
Yeah, you don't because we've seen plenty of success, plenty of it.
I will say this though. I mean, it did work them losing their top two guards a little bit, but then LaFleur should have made adjustments to that.
They were. They were never winning that football game. Saquon,
and you know what? As if they had been on it, they could have beat the Eagles because Eagles didn't play all that great. They did it.
No, the Eagles did just enough
to win.
Just enough. They dialed up the right play. They dialed up the right play to Johan Dotson.
Yeah,
they dialed up the right play. Dallas Goedert made a great play out of nothing.
Yeah,
with a stiff arm to score that touchdown. So it's not as though Jalen Hurts was slinging the ball all over the yard. We didn't see.
AJ Brown 1 catch, I think,
and then went to go read.
that book's gotten. Sales got a 53% since then.
I bet it has. But yeah. Johan Dotson scoring touchdowns, and AJ Brown is on the sideline. These guys,
5 catches for 65 yards or whatever.
It was just the Eagles just did. They did what they needed to. They didn't lose the game. They didn't commit turnovers. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, again, they played good Eagles brand football right now. Yeah. They've got themselves a hell of a test coming up. They sure do. We've got one more game before we get to last night's beatdown. Yeah, we do have this game. Bucks 20, Commanders.
Everything I thought was going to be this was a great game. It was one of those games that I don't want any of the teams to lose.
Let me give you the one stat here.
Do it.
One
stat.
One turnover.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
That was all. That was it. That sealed it.
Yeah.
And he knew it. It gave the Commanders the extra possession, And that was it. That was it. But the Bucks did everything they could. Baker did everything they could. I got to give a little bit of credit, or a lot of credit, to the Commanders' defense in this game.
Yeah, they played good.
They play good. You got to give credit to Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback.
He's got great composure.
Just great composure.
I love watching him play.
Great pocket awareness. Not making any mistakes. Mistakes free, and that's going to be a real test coming up this Saturday. Nobody in their right mind thinks the Commanders will upset the Lions. I'm one of them. I do not believe that. I think it's the end of the road, like it is the end of the road for the Texans.
I don't think they're now. I don't think they're going to get blown away like everybody thinks they are. I don't.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
I think this game's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
It'll be close in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll come down to the last possession.
Or it's one of those. The Lions are up by 24 points, and then they let the Commanders back in, and the final score winds up being like 14 points.
Yeah,
they don't.
And both coaches freaking don't care. They go for on fourth down too.
The Commanders can't score with the Lions. That's the problem there. They can't score with them. It's as nice of a story as Scary Terry is.
Mm-hmm.
And a bona fide wide receiver one now moving forward. Finally, we get a new wide receiver one on a team. Yeah, I mean, Olamide Zacchaeus. They'll bring in another weapon. Zach Ertz, he's a good tight end, but he's no George Skittles.
Nope.
He's he's not even Mark Andrews. And they have no run game.
No. Brian Roberts Jr. like awful.
Nice. Austin Eckler. They have Austin Eckler, the veteran.
Yeah.
There was one.
He can't run worth the shit, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
There was one key play. I believe it was in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
They had to have dialed his number up. A go-to play for a first down. It was to Austin Eckler. Yeah. So he's perfect situational football for that player and that team. But to run in between the tackles or to run outside of a zone or moving laterally, none of that. They don't have that. The Lions,
even the change of pace backs can't do that.
The Lions do have that.
Yeah.
They have that in two running backs.
Yeah, and Montgomery's back this week too.
They have that, and they've got too many weapons. So again, it was a nice season. Great job, Quinn. Great job. What's his name? We were just talking about him before. Cliff.
Yeah.
Great job. No one thought this team was winning 12 games. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, the Commanders will be playing the Lions. That's on Saturday. I believe that would be probably Saturday night. Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
I believe they would be Saturday night. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goats everywhere. The Rams had to relocate out of SoFi Stadium due to circumstances and go on the road. You would have thought that this would have been a nice crowd still for the Rams.
It was more.
It
wasn't. More Vikings. No,
it wasn't. And the Rams with everything that's going on, I'd like to say that plays a little bit into it. It had to have played a little bit into it. Put on a clinic. They put on a clinic. I'll leave the floor to you because this is your team.
The defense was eye-opening to me. Yeah, yes. Their O-line was hurt, but you still had somebody that they traded for, Cam Robinson, that was a Pro Bowler at one time, but he was just revolving door. People that had 9 sacks. 9 sacks.
9 sacks. That's
9
his
sacks. And that was like you said, you were texting, it's like you text Darnold is seeing ghosts, and he was seeing ghosts. And then the secondary was clamping down on the receivers really good.
9 sacks. You could just equate that to 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
You can't throw 4 interceptions. You could barely throw 1, but he was sacked 9 times. How about Kevin O'Connell? How about you start taking the ball out of his hand? And I'm not talking about the fourth quarter when you're down 27-9. I mean, no, then I get it. Then I get why you would have to be in a lot of passing situations. But
yeah,
I mean, like they just like they were too hell bent on dropping him back and having him pass, and
why did they use Aaron Jones in screenplays?
So back
to it was I was like, okay, fine. You want to be you're getting cute, Kevin.
So right,
you're getting cute.
You brought
Stafford did his thing, hitting the tight ends, man. All 3 tight ends,
including it's true. It's true, and Tyler Higbee now again is injured, but
he's back. He's back this week. He's good.
I don't think we're going to see that again.
No,
like that type of distribution. There was a ton of motion, and we know that the Rams like to do that, but it just seemed like there was motion on every snap of the ball. You knew it. You saw somebody coming across the formation. 9 times out of 10, it was Puka. That one time that you saw Cooper Kupp come across the formation, there isn't one person that watches football or that was in that stadium that didn't know that ball was going to him coming across the formation.
Right.
And Sean McVay was just playing with them at that point. He completely had the Vikings on their heels. And again,
if you take away Bill Lamore's, the center's unsportsmanlike conduct hit, which the whistle had been blown, so that was kind of crap, but it is what it is. And then they had eight penalties for 85 yards. A lot of and Kyron Williams had a couple of nice runs called back because of holding penalties too. They just dominated them, man. Dominated them. This game right here.
Well, before we get to it, not to be that dead horse, okay, but again, back to that Vikings and that performance by Sam Darnold. Again, I don't want to really put a lot of the blame on him, but some of it has to go to him. These last 2 games were not good.
No.
He may have played himself out of a decent contract, or when I say decent, I mean like not big bucks. Like I'm not even sure that they would tag him at this point.
No,
like they might be able to sign him, right, to like a 2-3 year like short-term type of deal and pay him less money per year, right, than what the 1-year tag would be. So he may have played himself out of that situation, which is, again, look, this is
might play himself right into free agency.
This is your the Vikings have to make a tough decision, because again, if he didn't have a bad year, but this was a bad game, and last week was a bad game against the Lions, and there's got to be something's got to. You're gonna have to have a tough conversation, amongst yourselves. It's a tough conversation. It really is. But
I read on X. I can't remember which account it was. They said that Daniel Jones isn't that much different than Darnold. So the big difference with that is I think Darnold could read defenses better, but Daniel Jones has
the legs.
Yeah, Daniel Jones has the legs.
He has the legs.
So they could keep Daniel as a backup.
Rhino.
In case JJ McCarthy fails, because that's not even given. Everybody thinks,
like we're having a much. They're not having a conversation. No. If the Vikings would have won that game,
nope.
Sam Darnold would have won a huge playoff game.
Yep.
All right, so there's a tough conversation needs to be made, and then lastly, back to last year when we were talking about one Mister Sombrero running back, Aaron Jones, and he played as well as he did last year. Um, that he caused his own his own fortune. He got himself a 1-year deal with the rival Vikings, and they didn't use him. Like what the hell? Like
No, because
you
Akers
you
it looked like Akers was running better than.
like you couldn't have signed Aaron Jones in the offseason based on like total like full body of work for the season because he missed a bunch of games. You signed Aaron Jones in the offseason based on Aaron Jones's performance in last year's postseason.
Yep.
And how well he did.
He's gonna be gone too, free agent.
And they did not run the ball. And right to your point. And if you didn't want to do it with Aaron Jones, you could have attempted again. Get the other guy running
Cam
the ball.
Akers or Ty Chandler, because I mean,
you had to at least give them. You have to get creative. You have to counter. You have to counter. You can't just continue to do the same damn thing and expect the same result.
Right.
Different result. How do the Rams go to Philadelphia? We know that they could handle the outdoors. We know that they could most likely handle the environment in terms of like the fans, like that.
Yeah.
Like the fans are going to be out of their minds and lunatics, but they could probably handle them. How could they beat the Vic Fangio defense? That's the $1 million question.
They kicked 3 field goals in the kind of like 30-yard red zone area last time. They had to finish drives, and they had to freaking tackle damn Saquon Barkley. Tackle him. He had 2 long runs. They lost 37-20. He had 2 long runs. And he ran for almost 300 yards against the Rams. So the Rams need to figure out how they're going to stop that, and they need to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. Make him win the game, and that's how they can do it. But man, they need to finish the drives in the red zone. They have to. They can't. You can't win games. Theoretically, you can't win games kicking field goals. Not in the playoffs. You got to finish drives in the red zone. Be smart. McVay needs to pull out his bag again. A little bit.
And Philly's going to be waiting for it too.
Mm-hmm.
Philly will be waiting for it. The Rams defense, you got to give them a ton of credit. For putting the clamps down on the Vikings, the Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hockenson, by the way, real fast. T.J. Hockenson, ladies and gentlemen, boys and goats. We have our tight end back.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, yeah. I mean, this is gonna be a chess match where I see that Jalen Hurts is. Hey, look, man, you're the franchise quarterback. Saquon he's a free agent pickup. Saquon is going to be playing here as long as you are going to be playing here, Jalen. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Jalen, you are a previous Super Bowl quarterback. You just didn't win it, but you've played in one, Jalen. AJ, Devontae. It'll be a challenge. Not sure if the defense could rise up to it. I mean, look, anything's possible. I don't want to completely rule the Rams out of this game altogether. I don't want to do that. I see them winning it by a little bit. I think it's
going to come down to whoever has the ball last possession. Like to say it's 24-21, or something like that, 28-28.
These guys flying around. I don't know if they could cause Matt Stafford to maybe make an errant throw again. It just takes
they can. Yeah.
Just takes one. I think right now they're being very careful with Jalen Hurts. Not just for where he's throwing the ball and picking and choosing the spots and making sure that the absolute play is there for him to make the play. But they're also they might be being careful with Jalen Hurts due to the head injury.
Yeah.
They might be. Now that's just speculation on my part, though.
I see. That's one other thing too. Then we can call it is the Rams they can't let Hurts extend plays with his legs. He can't.
Which we know that he can if he has to.
Yeah.
We know that if they're in 3rd and 1, it's generally 2 downs.
Yeah.
It's generally
they did, except for last week they freaking threw the ball.
Oh yeah.
Though too. I was like, what the hell, man?
Some trickery.
Yep. I like that though too.
Yeah, I like it too. I like it, but not.
But yeah.
It's going to make the Rams and Shula think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll be a good game. Goats, that's it for this evening. We will be back this Friday, 8:00 for DFS Divisional Picks. I'm looking forward to that. We went through the car wash this past weekend with DFS. Look, we're not going to get them all. Yeah. We can't get it. We can't win them every week.
We had some good lineups too.
Yeah, we had some good. We had Ty Johnson.
We thought we had some good lineups.
We had Ty Johnson right. We had him right. We had Scary Terry right. Never. We will be back for you though. Yep. This Friday, 8:00. Rhino, take us home.
All right, man. Hey, just be a difference and make a difference, everybody. Good night.